Hey there folks, I'm Zachary Smith with Smith's Pest Management, and I'm out here today in a park looking at ground squirrels, which is very tricky these days because there are really a lot of rules and regulations that prevent or get in the way of controlling ground squirrels. But also just something fun, because I love what I do here, is that's a bunch of ants on a cockroach. Okay, that's cool. That's like pest on pest, okay? So here's the problem out here for ground squirrels. This may not look terrible to you. Maybe it does. If you've ever had to replace broken concrete, it's pretty awful. And here's why the concrete breaks, okay? If you know anything about base rock, this has been irrigated, so it's a little two-tone. This is base rock, okay? Base rock is an engineered product that compacts really hard, almost like concrete itself, and it is required before you put down concrete. That came out from underneath this concrete. So now we have a cavity under the concrete, and it will crack. It will crack. I have so many pictures and videos where the concrete fails, okay? So that's gonna be tens of thousands of dollars because there's 100 of those holes around here. And then obviously we showed you the ants, but the issue is that there's a creek, okay? Or a canal, and there's tons of ground squirrels living on the canals, and that's true all around the Bay Area. The ground squirrels just get going, they thrive, there's weeds and water and everything they need to thrive. Then they get over into a park and they start to establish themselves in the park. They get the food from the picnic tables, they get all the grass that's a little more nutritious maybe than the weeds they've been feeding on, and they start burrowing in, and then they start making babies, and the whole process is now, it's repeating, and it's perpetual. So what do we do? Okay, for one, if we can fence them off, that would be great, but they're already here. So, at some point, ensure that they can't get in from the creek. That's great. Two, you gotta eliminate the squirrel, because look, when you talk about breaking up the disease triangle, you've got the food, and you got the house, and you got the animal, okay? So the house is the dirt. We can't get rid of that. They just dig on in and live there. And the food is everywhere, so it's the animal, okay? We can fumigate them. We can bait them. We can trap them. We can repel them. I think that covers it, okay? But all the things that I just mentioned, there's always rules and restrictions. Fumigating them, marginally effective. Depends on the product, of course. The stuff that works really well is highly restricted and requires permits and requires distance from structures and requires a lot of red tape, okay? Fumigating with carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide, there are options there worth considering. And then trapping them, okay? The issue that we have in a park and trapping the squirrels is it's very visible, and you have people who don't want you to do it because they are cute and they are fuzzy and they are natural. There's always politics involved. I don't want to get involved in the politics. I know that I'm not doing any harm because we didn't have squirrels and we had a nice city. And then we didn't have squirrel control and they ruined the city. The city, was built hundreds of years ago, and before that it was natural. So if you want to love nature, and I love nature, you go back before we bulldozed it and built it and made parks and homes, fine, that was natural. Now what we need is sanitation. We need to keep our cities tidy and clean, because you don't want your rodent problem, and ground squirrels are rodents, you do not want your rodent problems to go unchecked. They will continue to grow and grow. There is no significant predator. There is nothing that controls a ground squirrel naturally in this environment. And they carry fleas, and they will definitely get very human friendly. And I see it all the time. They get up on the picnic table while you're eating, okay? We've had schools where the ground squirrels come in at lunch into the cafeteria, and the little kids laugh as the ground squirrels are up on the cafeteria tables. This isn't the Bay Area. The ground squirrels are stealing the tater tots, and the kids have squirrels and all they carry at their lunch table. And I know in this day and age, there is not a parent that's cool with that. And this is a park with the kids and people living and communing, and the squirrels are not bad guys. They just reproduce a lot, and they burrow a lot, and they carry a lot of fleas. And also we have sports fields, not to belabor the point, but ankle breakers to the maximum, okay? They don't go away on their own. You cannot wish rodents away. It's never worked. If it works, let me know. So what do? We have to really get honest with ourselves about the nature of the beast. Do we trap and put up with the political backlash? That's difficult in a public setting because there's a whole process that can really stop progress. I have a reputation. My company has been a Bay Area mainstay for 16 years now, handling practically nothing but burrowing pests. You know, it's my forte. Ants and spiders and all that are easy. These are the ones that give you a challenge. This is why most pest companies don't deal with burrowing rodents. Okay, so I have a reputation to maintain. I don't want to be on the 7 o'clock news as the villain. So I don't want to put my traps out and have John Q. Public lambaste me online, knowing that I'm actually trying to explain to everybody here that this is a good intended thing here. I am intending to help the public. I am not some sort of animal hating, marauder. So, okay, we have politics and we have pesticide restrictions and red tape and a very narrow opportunity to get control. I don't think they'll close parks, but I have seen schools closed, okay? Not the whole school, but the fields. You've got 10 acres of fields closed to the public, to the kids, because the ground squirrels have deemed it unsafe, and the lawyers will get their money because there are so many stories of broken ankles. Little children, wonderful kids, innocently playing, audible snap of the bone as the parents on the sideline watch little Jenny go down with a broken leg in the middle of the soccer game because the school had ground squirrel burrows in the field that were not resolved. The squirrel problem was not resolved. So you got to imagine that the property management, right? The facilities management has a huge liability on their hands because they know and they have not taken action. They need to take action, and the red tape comes in. That's why I'm giving you this long video to tell you I will work with you through the red tape, and I will look at every option with you. I don't care how many questions need to be asked. I will stick with you and answer the questions so that every concerned party gets heard and that a solution gets selected, I guess is the thing to say, picked. We have to pick a fix from close it down to keep it open and make it right. Word to the wise, if you have gophers, moles, ground squirrels on your school, park, or any other land where the public comes to visit, kill the first one fast. Don't wait. It will go from 1 to 10 to 1,000 to 1,000,000. It goes really quickly. And if you pause, they resurge. The resurgence, they come right back. Why pest control companies stay in business, and unapologetically, it's not the worst thing for my family that we have rodents that come back, but I don't want them to come back. And we have worked ourselves out of a job on so many schools and parks because we got it clean and we established a perimeter, and the squirrels or the ground moles and gophers didn't come back, and we got terminated. That's a win. I'd love to lose those kind of contracts. Okay, folks, I'm Zachary Smith, owner of Smith's Pest Management. Your ground squirrel problems stop here.